And I'm going ahead and starting. Hello, everybody, because my cat's being a spaz. So you might hear him playing with the ball. Maybe you won't. I'm kind of seeing. Yeah, the noise gate might be keeping it out. Nice. All right. Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. How you doing, Roz? Happy Easter again. I saw you kind of before and now after the day itself. So I hope you had a good Easter. I'm doing okay. Worked late. Got a lot, not like too much on my plate tomorrow. I've got a few big things I need to make sure I take care of tomorrow. So just trying to relax for a few minutes, do some Latin, and then grab some dinner. Hopefully my cat won't attack me while he's doing this. He's playing with his rollerball. So he's pretty into it right now. Okay. Sorry. He does attack very cutely. He's just so cute. Alright. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm sharing my Instagram to Twitter. I haven't actually checked my Twitter. I didn't check it over Lent. And although Lent is over, I haven't actually checked my Twitter yet. But I have been sharing my Instagram posts on to Twitter, so I'm glad that hopefully Fudge brought a smile to your face. That being the point. So recently, we've been doing verbs, and we've been focusing on the present, future, and imperfect tense. And we've also been focusing on active. So active verbs means that the subject is performing the action. Today we're going to do passive verbs of those tenses. And so that means the subject is acted upon by the verb. So active, you're doing the verb. Passive, you are being acted upon by the verb. So if we use Fudge and the ball for the example, so Fudge is hitting the ball, active. I think that's sockets, yeah. But, it's a similar idea. So Fudge is hitting the ball, active, right? He's performing the action against the ball. But you can say the ball is being hit by Fudge. So in that case, the ball is being acted upon. It's not hitting, it is being hit. So in English, we generally recognize the passive verb with a form of to be that is used as our passive indicator. To be hit. To be, if we're talking about a drink, for example, I don't have a drink with me. Punch needs to get that for me. He doesn't know that yet. Well, I have chocolate here on the table from an Easter basket from a friend. So I eat the chocolate, active. The chocolate is eaten, is by me. As a side point, this means that is has a fair degree of meaning. It's got a huge, yeah. Because in the sentence that I was using with Fudge, Fudge is hitting the ball, still active. Fudge is, or the ball is hit by Fudge. Now it's passive. So the form of the verb also has to change. The chocolate is eaten by you, and afterwards the chocolate is eaten. I think there's a joke there, and I don't quite get it. Oh! Like when you're saying, like, the chocolate's all gone. The chocolate's eaten. right? It's not there anymore. Is that because yes, that is a phraseology that's possible. Not really a joke. The words for is being eaten and has been eaten are the same. Yeah. Correct. I think I caught up with you eventually. I just wasn't there at first. You should be flattered. I assume that you're making a very intellectual joke that I just don't get anytime you say something. English is weird, and that's yet another form of is. Well, it's not that it's another form of is. Is always to be. It just gets used as a helping verb in a lot of different ways. So I guess in that sense you would call it a different form of is when it's acting as a helping verb versus acting as the main verb. A different form of is. Yeah, I guess that would be fair to say. Thank you, Punch. He's getting me tea, and he didn't even know that I had just said 2 minutes ago that he needed to get me a drink. He's a good husband. What do you be? You can be so many things. You can be receiving something from the rest of the sentence. You can be in a state. You can be another name for yourself. It's true. Yeah, definitely. There's a lot with to be. But to be does not have a passive form, so we don't have to worry about Latin to be today. Because of all the things to be can be, it cannot be to be been. It can't be passive. So we're going to focus on the other 5 conjugations, the normal conjugations, the regular conjugations that have their set system. Now, the basic form for the present tense is stem, personal ending, OMST mustis ent. The basic structure for the imperfect is the stem of the word, the tense infix ba, and then the personal endings, MST mustis ent. Rouse tries to imagine what it would mean to be passively. Exactly. It like breaks your brain. And the future marker, hey Max, the future marker for the first and second is the stem, or not the future marker, how you form the future tense. For the first and second conjugation is the verb stem, the tense infix bi, and OST mustis ent. For third and fourth conjugation is verb, the vowel shift, a long E, and then MST mustis ent. To form the present, or to form the passive, which is what we're focusing on today, the only difference in overall picture is that personal ending, OMST mustis ent, is now arvris ter murmini enter. The OMST mustis ent are the active personal endings, and arvris ter murmini enter are the passive endings. That's the only change. You just have to unplug the personal endings and plug in the passive personal endings. Sometimes that causes a vowel shift, especially in that third conjugation, which is always tricky. But it thankfully is a lot simpler than how we form the passive in English. Because in English, you have to know the passive participle, like broken. It is broken. And you don't have to know those forms in Latin. You just have to know arvris ter murmini enter. OMST mustis ent would make a hilarious username, just saying. That would be. And nobody would get it. They'd just be like, what is that? And for the sake of clarity, R, ris, re, ter, mer, mini, enter is how the endings look for the passive in Latin. When I say it, I just say R, ris, ter, mer, mini, enter. I did put the RE as an alternative for the second singular. That's just personal choice. Some authors will put an RE. Some will put the RIS. There's no significance. It's just generally for metrical reasons, they'll use the RE. So I'm only going to be saying RIS for this because it is the more common. But there will come a time in the future when remembering the RE will be helpful. I'm glad you're alive, Max. I hope it's better than that, but you know, being alive is definitely an important place to be sometimes. You just got to be alive. All right, so let's look at what Benjamin has to say. I think he's just going to explain everything I just said, so we should be able to fly through this. All right. So far, we've learned the active voice, the lion killed the hunter. A verb is said to be in the passive when the subject receives the action. The lion was killed by the hunter. Or the hunter was killed by the lion. Shouldn't we use the same sentence? Not too bad, honestly, stomach just isn't feeling great. Oh, okay, bummer, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay. So, and here are the personal passive endings. So again, you just have to plug these in instead of the OMST mustus ent. R, ris, re, ter, mer, mini, enter. Right? Easy. So with the verb amo amare, you drop the RE to get the present stem, or monere, drop the RE, get the present stem, and then R, ris, ter, mer, mini, enter. R, ris, ter, mer, mini, enter. So amor or moneor. So it kind of gets an OR, again, for phonetic reasons. Isn't it the same sentence if it's expressing the same thought, though? Yes, but these two were different. Right? So the lion killed the hunter is very different than the lion was killed by the hunter. So a better way to show the sentence would have been the lion was killed. The hunter was killed by the lion, because the first sentence, the lion is killing the hunter. So now we need the hunter is killed by the lion. Whew. No, I was kind of talking myself in circles for a moment too. Yeah, reverses the two and would help with firewalls, wouldn't it? But whatever. I think we get the point at least. So amantur, they are loved. Moneris, you are advised. And then with the imperfect, ama stem, mone stem, ba marker for the imperfect, and then arvis termer minienter. Arvis termer minienter. Amabater, he was being loved. Mone banter, they were being advised. Future, we got our stem, ama, mone. The bi future infix, and then arvis termer minienter. You will notice that the vowel and the R, we get some of those vowel shifts I mentioned. So it's amabor, amaberis with an E, and then amabitter with the I that you expect. Bimmer, bimini, bunter. So that U that we get. Sorry, the cat's being cute. So the tense sign and the personal endings are added just like in the active. It's just a different set of personal endings. The future tense sign BI appears as BO, BE in the second, and BU in the third person plural. Again, that's just phonetic reasons. As people said the words, they shifted a little bit. Unsurprisingly, intransitive verbs usually don't have a passive with a personal subject, right? So just like with to be, maturo, I hasten, you're not going to say maturor, I am hastened. What? I am dwelled? Okay, no, right? These verbs don't have passives. It does provide the little caveat: do not have a personal voice with a personal. Do not have a passive voice with a personal subject. Sometimes Latin does use a passive verb, a passive intransitive verb, to just make the point of like it happens. It's not very common, and I think it's mostly with the verb iter, to go. So normally we would not have a passive of to go, but it kind of gets used to mean there was a procession. I am hastened. That'd be slightly different from the more normal I have hastened. In the letters I have completed the action, whereas the former I'm in the state of having been hastened. Exactly, and you don't passively get hastened. Generally, when people try to get you to do something, you move more slowly. I was seeing if Punch would laugh at that. I don't think he was listening. All right, let's read about Perseus and Andromeda. Look at this picture. What the heck is going on? You probably know about Perseus and Andromeda, you guys. You're probably okay. All right. Why did you say rude, Punch? There's a statement on the human condition. Oh, because you were listening. That's very true. However, having run many D&D sessions, I know that player characters do get hasted many times. Oh, that's true. All right. So, Perseus and Andromeda, Part 1. Perseus filius erat Iovis, maximi deorum, green. De eo multas fabulas narrant poetae. Ei fabent Dei, ei magica arma, et alas dant. Eis telis armatas, et alis fretus ad multas terras volabat, et monstra saeva delebat, et miseris infirmisque auxilium dabat. I'm just going to read the whole story and then we'll translate. Ethiopia est terra Africae, eam terram Cepheus regebat, ei Neptunus ago gratius tibi punch. Ei Neptunus maximus aquorum deus erat iratus, et mittit monstrum saevum ad Ethiopium. Ibi monstrum non solum latis pulchrisque Ethiopiae agris nocebat, sed etiam domicilia agricularum delebat, et multos viros feminas liberosque necabat. Populus ex agris fugiebat, et opida muris validis muniebat. Tum Cepheus magna tristia commotus ad Iovis oraculum properat, et ita dicit, amici mei necantur, agri mei vastantur, audi verba mea Jupiter, da miseris auxilium, age monstrum saevum ex patria. Very good. All right. Peleus, I just combined Perseus and Peleus into a different mythological character. Perseus filius erat Iovis maximi deorum. Perseus was, erat, the imperfect of to be, the son of Jupiter. Iovis is the genitive of Jupiter. It's an irregular proper noun, as you can see. If anybody wants to know linguistically why, I'll let you know. Anyway, Ra is Peleus, the god of Hera. That's funny. I like that. The greatest of the gods. So Maximi is in the genitive because it's modifying, well, not modifying, but because it's describing Eowys, who's in the genitive. Okay. Deeo, from him, poetae nanant, the poets narrate many stories, multas fabulas. A fawent Dei, the gods favor him. A referring back to Perseus, so he says demigod. And it's true, Perseus is kind of the first of the heroes. So he's extremely well liked by the gods. I don't even remember if Hera was mean to him. I think like everybody was just like, cool, he's a dude. He kills monsters. That's cool. Because it's very on in the hero chronology. All right, the gods favor him. So fawent, from the verb faweo. So this is present. So again, even though it should be in the past, the gods favored him, we're in the historical present. We're in the fiction present. So for vividness, they use the present tense instead of the imperfect. All right. Ei magicae armae et alas dant. They give to him magical weapons and wings. He got winged sandals to let him fly around the world from Hermes. Pretty cool. Hermes and Athena in particular were very pro Perseus. All right. Eis telis armatus et alis fretus ad multa steras volabat. So he was flying around volabat. So we're in the imperfect again. He used to fly around armed with these weapons, and I actually don't remember what fretus is. Bridled? I want to say it means bridled, which seems like a weird word, but it makes sense. Because what is a bridle except a sandal for a horse's mouth? Do you think about that? Oh, fretus. Why did I forget this? Relying on, trusting to, supported by. Dummy. Man, it's been a while since I've read any Latin. All right. So, armed with these weapons and relying on the wings, he used to fly around to many lands, and he used to destroy savage monsters, and he used to give help to the miserable people and the weak people. Very nice. Thankfully, that's not what that word actually meant, Ross, so you can ignore that random comment I made. Although it is kind of apt. All right. Ethiopia. Ethiopia is a land of Africa. Okay. Cepheus. How do I normally say that? Cepheus? Yeah, I guess Cepheus. Anyway, he used to rule that land, right? Neptune, the greatest god of waters, Maximus Deus Aquarum, was angry at him. Eratus, that's kind of a confusing phrase. AE. He was angry at him. And he sends, so again, we're moving to that historical present again. He sends a savage monster to Ethiopia. There, Ibi, the monster, not only, so non solum sed etiam is not only but also. So the monster not only was injuring the broad and beautiful fields, latis pulchrisque agris of Ethiopia, but also he was destroying the houses of the farmers, and he was killing many men, women, and children. Wonderful. Maximus was angry at him, it's true. Who? Neptune? Or are you making a Tangled joke? Is Flynn Is Flynn from Tangled, right? Okay, but Punch was not reacting to that. None of the gods are nice guys. We know this. All right. So the people, populace, were fleeing from the fields and were fortifying the towns with strong walls. Maurice Swalides. That's not going to help when you're up against a god of the sea. It's just not going to help. All right. So then, Cepheus, what was he doing? Moved Commodus by great sadness, Magna Tristiae. He hastens, properat, to the oracle of Jupiter, and he speaks thus. Now we get his quote. Eugene. Oh, never mind. I'm dumb. I have never seen that movie, which is part of why I was confused. All right. The oracle of Jupiter is in Dodona. If we're speaking about the oracle of Jupiter in Africa. I think it's Dodona, right? No, what am I saying? Dodona's in Greece. I'm an idiot today. The oracle of Jupiter in Africa is Ammon. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, brain. Thank you for getting there eventually. All right. Sorry. Join the club. Well done. All right. My friends are being killed. Necantur. We got our passive here. My fields are being laid waste. Bastanter. Hear my words, O Jupiter. Got our imperative here, Audi. Give help to the miserable people. Da auxilium. Auxilium, one of Punch's favorite words. Drive out, Age, the savage monster from the country. Expatria. All right. We're just going to breeze through. Oh, yeah, of course we're just going to breeze through. Look, he doesn't even write anything. Review them in this page in the back. Right? Because all you do is take the personal endings and change them with the passive personal endings. Note the slight irregularity in the second person singular present. The final E is not changed to an I, but remains an E. You have regeres, regere, not with the I there. Good. We get part 2 eventually. Does this? Okay. We're just going to do one more, I think. Because then we can get to the end of the story. We're just going to finish the story. Be a short stream. All right. Tum oraculum ita respondit, mala est fortuna tua, Neptunus magnus aquarum deus, terrae Aethiopiae inimicus, eas poenas mitit, sed para erato deo sacram idoneum et monstrum saevum ex patria tua agetur. Andromeda filia tua est monstro gratia, da eam monstro, serva caram patriam et vitam populi tui. Andromeda autem erat puella pulchra, eam amabat Cepheus maxime. This can't be the end. Let me just look ahead real quick. Infinitive, imperative. Synopses. Ablative. Oh, okay, you're really being weird like that. You're not getting the end of the story yet, everybody. I'm sorry. Apparently, we have to go through a bunch of chapters before we get to this. Anyway, we'll translate this much. Then the oracle thus responds, Your fortune is evil. Neptune, the great god of the waters, hateful to the Ethiopian land, or the land of Ethiopia, yeah, that should probably be right, sends these penalties, punishments, poena, But prepare a sacred thing suitable to the angry god, Sacrum Idoneum, Irato Deo, and the savage monster, Monstrum Saevum, will be driven, future tense, from your land. Your daughter Andromeda, tua filia Andromeda, is pleasing to the monster, est monster grata. Give her to the monster, da eam monstro. Preserve the beloved fatherland and the life of your people. So it's like, okay, daughter or country. Andromeda, however, was a beautiful girl, and Cepheus, her father, I added that to remind everybody, loved her very much. For a meal. Yeah, 100%. Yum. All right. You know what? Let's just go through the next 2 lessons because they're more review, and then we can jump into something big on the weekend. All right. So for the present imperfect and future indicative passive of IO conjugation, there's nothing weird there. Again, you do go through the same steps. Get the stem, do the tense marker, and then use the passive endings. Are, wrist, term, or mini enter. But do you want a passive infinitive? If, I don't know, my cat likes to be pet. To be pet would be the passive infinitive. Not super common, but common enough. So essentially what you do is you take your present active infinitive, which is the second principal part, and you remove the last 2 letters, and then put on, well, technically the ARE, ERE, that's the infinitive marker. So for the present passive infinitive, you change the ARE to an ARI, and then an ERE to an ERI, and for the fourth, an IRE to an IRI. Are you seeing a pattern? But third and third IO, what's wrong with them? They have that weak E. So instead of being ERE, they just become I. So amare, amari, monere, moneri, regere, regi, capere, capi, audire, audiri. So not too hard. Yeah, Fudge is a weird cat. He does like scratching us too. But it's more because he wants to wrestle and less because he's annoyed. I mean, sometimes he gets annoyed, obviously, but usually it's just I want activity. All right. The present infinitive of sum is esse. There's no passive, right? If you don't have passive forms, you're not going to have a passive infinitive. All right. For the present passive imperative, so if you want to command someone to let something happen to them, for the singular, you add an RE to the stem. Amare, monere, regere, capere, audire. So this is the alternate second person singular for the passive forms, right? It's R, ris, re, ter. So the re, the RE, is just that alternate second person. Which is important because then the plural passive imperative looks exactly the same as the second plural. So to command someone to do something, you just use the same second person verb form. It's context. That's it. These passive singular imperative also look exactly like the infinitives. 100% exactly the same. So that could be confusing. But I can tell you it's usually not the imperative. Right? Imperatives, not that common. Passive imperatives, less common. And context makes it a little bit more clear. Are you directly talking? Is the speaker directly talking to somebody and ordering them to do something? Okay, then it's an imperative. But otherwise, it's probably a passive infinitive. The fact that the passive commands are rarely used is indicated by the fact that Latin didn't feel the need to distinguish them from the indicative second person. Like, they don't get their own forms. When you're talking to somebody, it could be a command or it could be a statement. Latin did not care. Maybe it's just because Latin likes to order people around. Or, more likely, imperatives aren't very polite. Commands aren't very polite. So if you're talking to someone in a friendly manner and you want them to do something, you would find a more polite way of saying it. Do you want to? Would you like to? Hey, come on, please listen to me. Blah, blah, blah. Consider this. Whatever the case, form-wise, they're not hard at all. And again, not that common. So we're just kind of breezing through it. So we'll start next time with lesson 30, which is the synopses. Right. Yeah. You can practice on these fun little questions. So page 176, they have questions about. I love number 8. Credes ni semper verbis oraculis? Will you always believe the words of an oracle? An excellent question to debate. Next time on Sunday, we will start with lesson 30, which is the synopses. A synopsis is a glance at verb forms. So we're going to review all 4 conjugations, talk some about the ablative, and then start on some new tenses. And hopefully read more about Perseus and Andromeda at one point. Always believe the words of oracles. They have information directly from the DM. Good question. It's true. Like in Greek myth and D&D, you should always listen to oracles. You're not wrong. Thanks for hanging out. I hope everybody is having an all right day and has a good rest of the week. There's potential on Friday, maybe, for me being on Punch's stream instead of doing my own. He's kind of giving me a look. He says, we'll see how I feel on Friday, which is actually very valid because work is weird and I get exhausted and I kind of just want to come home and watch a movie, which is what I'm going to go do now. I'm going to go have dinner and bother my husband. So, thanks everybody for showing up. We have so much Latin to learn, but we've really gotten through a lot. We've gotten, more than a third done of this book so far. So we are on good pace. I think there's 70-something lessons. So we're almost halfway there, honestly. So, yeah, Latin's great.